What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I wasn't really planning on making a video today, but there are some things I want to get done on the race truck, and I need some opinions from you guys. So, first things first, before we get into today's video, I want to thank everybody on the channel. We have hit 2,000 subscribers. It seemed like we took forever to hit 1,000, and then as soon as we hit 1,000, we jumped, just skyrocketed, and now we're over 2,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for all of the continued support that I get from you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are the MVPs. So I'm glad that I can continue to make these videos for you guys. Hopefully they're informative for you. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. Obviously, I love your guys' feedback. So make sure you guys are leaving comments down below. Give me some feedback. Give me ideas. Just brainstorming different things of what you guys might like to see on the channel. I already have an idea of how I want this build to go, but I'm always open to ideas. More recently, I've had a few of you guys suggest that we put some rubber pieces between the cooler and the filter, since they're bolted to a steel bracket. So I think I will go ahead and do that. That is a very good idea. I believe that way we can kind of get rid of any vibrations or anything like that. So I will be doing that. So and that came from you guys. So that might have been something. We might have ended up cracking our oil cooler or something like that. So very thankful for all of you guys and hitting 2,000 subscribers. And I'm just stoked and excited and hope that we continue to grow. And there's a lot of things coming to the channel. And this coming spring, when this thing's running and we can go to the track and stuff, it's just a lot of excitement. Really happy with where we are with the channel. So thank you guys so much. So in today's video, as you can see, I made my first AN line. This is -12. It's one of the first lines I've ever made, and it was kind of difficult, but we were able to push through. I explored a couple different ways of how I planned on doing these lines, and I think I've got the method down that I want to use. Real quick, off camera, we slapped our Thickum on. As you can see there, we also have our upper radiator hose on. So now I need your guys' help. So we're going to be putting on the no limit intake today so that I can kind of figure out some routing for these lines. Originally I was going to go underneath that upper radiator hose, but now I'm kind of figuring that we might not have enough room. So we're going to go ahead and get the no limit intake on, and then I'm going to get your guys' opinion on that, as well as your guys' opinion on the secondary fuel filter that we're going to be running. We are running a 6.7 fuel pump. When I go to change the fuel filters on this truck, I want to be able to use just a whole Ford kit. So we are going to be utilizing the 6.7 secondary filter as well. So we need to find a mounting location for that too. So we're going to get some stuff installed first so that we can kind of see what our best route is going to be, because like our no limit intake, it's massive and it's going to sit in one spot, and that's pretty much where it's going to be. So there's really no adjustment there. But we do have options for how we are going to be routing our oil lines from the oil cooler block-off plate to up front, as well as where we are going to mount that secondary fuel filter, so that we can easily access it for changing the fuel filter. So let's go ahead and grab that no limit intake, and we'll get that installed first. So here is our no limit intake. Obviously, we went with the polished piece, and then we went with the ProGuard filter, which is this massive AFE style ProGuard filter. It is an oiled filter, and then we got the big boot here. This goes from the turbo to this pipe. This is by far the biggest intake you can run on a 6.0 Power Stroke. No Limit does a fantastic job with this setup. In my opinion, I think it's a little overpriced for what you see here. You have a pipe, a big filter, and a boot. You know what I mean? So it is kind of overpriced. They usually retail right around the $500 mark for this particular setup. I got mine on sale. It was a Black Friday sale, and so we've had this for a little bit of time now. So we got this actually pretty cheap through Pure Diesel Power. So pretty stoked about how cheap we got this thing. But we're going to end up fishing it right through here. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how well this is going to end up fitting up. I've only ever installed one of these before on a 6.0. So we'll see how this goes. We'll get it all mounted up, and then we'll see where our fitment goes. We're going to start by popping this off here. If you guys have any questions about this turbo, it is a modified Powermax. Pretty snazzy. Billet wheel from KC Turbos. It's got the 10 blade, the bigger exhaust housing. Pretty sweet. So we're going to start by, there are two different size clamps here. As you can see, this small clamp will end up being at the turbo side. These are actually really nice style clamps. We won't have any problems with these coming apart or anything like that. So this obviously goes here on the turbo side. Then that one will go for that pipe. And then this has its own clamp down at the bottom there. So this can be extremely tricky to finagle it and get it installed and kind of routed correctly. You want to get all these bends in the right spot. So you kind of just start with this boot. You want the no limit piece to kind of face towards the front of the truck. Sometimes they can kind of angle up and kind of point up a little bit too. But you just kind of have to keep adjusting it until you find that perfect spot. All right, so 3 days later, this is where we're at. We were able to get our no limit installed. I'll explain why I had to cut that video short, that part, and why it's 3 days later here in a minute. We got some other things taken care of as well. We had a problem when we were trying to install our no limit. If you look here, this clamp is a 5-inch clamp, and no limit right here where this boot attaches to the actual pipe is a 5-inch opening, which means you need a 5.5-inch clamp in order for it all to work. So we had the wrong size clamp. No Limit had sent me the wrong one. A huge pain in the butt. Luckily, I was able to contact them. They were able to send me one the next day. So they did take care of me. It is very frustrating, especially with this type of intake where fitment is everything, and then all of a sudden I had this clamp that wasn't gonna freaking work. So I was pretty upset about it, but we managed to push through. We got that thing installed. It looks amazing. It's awesome. It hits about everything, but that's what you get. So like I said, it looks amazing. As you can see it in here, we're gonna leave this plastic piece on here. One thing that I really like about the No Limit that I want to kind of emphasize, one, this is the biggest intake you can run on that's in the market. 5-inch piece to this massive ProGuard filter. The other thing I really like is, one, this is obviously polished, but they move the mass airflow sensor to underneath here, which is freaking really cool, because when you pop the hood, you don't see any wiring or anything like that. So really like that feature. My only problem that I've had, the O-Dog's intake kind of moves everything up a little bit. You know, we have our CCV route over here. Is our oil dipstick is like right here. So it does kind of, it's a tight fit for sure, guys. So something to keep in mind. We were able to get this pipe back installed. We have this one installed. This is from Mishimoto. Really nice stuff here, obviously polished as well. And the other thing, so this piece here came from Pure Diesel Power. That little piece there replaces this plastic one that is prone to breaking. So all you have to do is cut this, and then this piece will split apart. Pull your hose off, insert new piece. Comes with clamps and everything. You can get it polished, and it looks good. It's gonna go great with the theme of how everything is right now. So we need to figure out how we're gonna route our two lines up to the front for our filter and cooler setup, which, by the way, the filter came in. It is massive and it looks incredible. This filter, LF3656, is a Fleet Guard Cummins filter, and the micron rating is exceptional. This filter exceeds all of the factory specifications for the factory oil filter, so this will
do just perfect for us. We need to figure out how we're going to route these lines. So as you can see those in there, I don't think we're going to be able to sneak it underneath this pipe and then underneath this one here to sneak it right there. So what I think we might have to do, which I want your guys' opinion too, is we might have to sneak it right through here. It might be kind of a tight fit, and it might be difficult to get the bends correctly off of there, but I think that might end up being our best route, because right here is not going to work because we don't want the hood or anything like that, and these are going to be moving a little bit, so we're going to try to sneak it through there and then cut it and come right on this side of the filter.
So let me know what you guys think about how we should route those two oil lines up to the front there. The other thing I need your guys' opinion on is we are running a 6.7 fuel pump. So there's a filter down there, and then there's this filter that comes on the 6.7 Power Strokes. This is the secondary fuel filter, which is underneath the hood. We are going to be utilizing this because when we go to do a fuel filter change, I can just buy the one Motorcraft kit, and it'll come with this one and the one on the actual pump itself. We can replace those and move on. So we need to mount this up somewhere. Yeah. I don't think we're going to have any room up here. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to mount it underneath the truck, along the frame rail, just after where our 6.7 fuel pump is located. So I think that's going to be what ends up being the best option. I haven't really crawled underneath there to see how much room we might even have down there, but that's what I think is going to be our best option. How should I mount this, though? I have no idea. I haven't decided on how I'm going to do that. I want to use maybe like a worm gear style clamp. Something like this, you know, with like a little slit in it, so I can just put it in there, tighten this up, and it holds it. I don't know. That's something else I need your guys' opinion on, is how do you think I should mount the secondary filter? So go down in the comment section right now, guys. Leave a comment. How do you think we should route those lines, those oil lines? And then how do you think we should mount our secondary fuel filter? Moving on from that, we are going to wrap up our turbo setup. So we have both of our intercooler pipes on, as you can see there, and I went and picked up some Dash 6 oil, stainless braided, whatever, line, and we're going to go ahead and make some AN fittings and attach everything. So stay tuned.
All right, so this is what we're going to be working with. Obviously, we're not going to be able to use the factory turbo feed line because we have the oil cooler delete plate. So we're going to be going from a Dash 8 to a Dash 6 fitting, ORB on the bottom. That's going to screw into the plate, and then this piece here is a Dash 6, and that's what size we're going to be feeding the turbo with, is right there. So we are going to be utilizing the Bulletproof diesel. Oh, flip this around. Bulletproof diesel oil feed fitting here for the top of the turbo. This will be for the factory turbos. That way you can run this. It comes with 2 ports. So we plugged one with a Dash 6 ORB, and then this piece here is a Dash 6 ORB, and that's going to a Dash 6 normal AN style fitting. So we are basically going to be installing this piece into the block off plate, and then our line will go from there, just like that, up to this piece and go into there, and that's where we will have our turbo feed. Okay, so jumping forward, we have our Bulletproof diesel plate up top there with our OEM seal. We have the one side plugged off, like I said, and then our Dash 6 coming off the side there. And then down here, if we look down into our plate, climb up here. Ooh. Our plate here says that the one that I have capped off is our turbo oil, and then this one right here is considered an auxiliary. The auxiliary port there would be used for if you had twin turbos, you could feed oil to the other turbo. We, because of just clearance and other things, we are going to plug the turbo one. We're going to use the auxiliary one, oil feed, to feed our top up here. I just think we're going to have a lot more room with that line if we can use that back one versus the one that Bulletproof Diesel says that you're supposed to use. So we're gonna, it's all the same fittings and everything, so I'm not really concerned about it. But, you know, this piece here is gonna have to kind of loop around and then come off there. So I think it'd be a lot better if we can use this one versus here. So let's go make our line.
All right, and 10 minutes later, we have our ends put together. So I'm not gonna really record how I do these AN style fittings and lines and stuff. As you can see, I did the one middle one here. I've never done them before. I've watched a few videos on YouTube on how people do it, the different methods and stuff like that. I'll kind of show you guys, I'll kind of tell you what my method was. It seemed to have worked. These are probably gonna leak within the first 3 minutes of the truck running, just because I've never done it before. But that's all part of learning, and that's what I'm kind of here, you know, trying to do. I'm just trying to learn. I'm gonna see what works best. I've tried a couple different methods and stuff, and I think I've got a method that I like best. I think one of the biggest things is keeping the crap out of the line, you know, when you make the cut and stuff like that. So basically just kind of mocked it up, see how long I need it, marked it, whatever. Grabbed some electrical tape, wrapped that around the line, and then I took a cutoff wheel, cut it where I wanted it to be cut, undid the electrical tape, and then I put the one fitting inside of here, and then kind of wiggled the line up in all the way up to the threads, and then started screwing in the other piece with my pliers here. That's what's worked best for me. Like I said, cleaning out these lines afterwards I think is really, really important after making a cut like that. But that's what I've done. It works. Like I said, they're probably going to leak within the first 3 minutes of this thing running. But that's all part of learning, and that's what I'm going to do. So we'll go ahead and get this installed and routed, and yeah, we'll be one step.
I kind of played with a couple different routing options here. I like this setup the best. I didn't really like how it had to corner if I go on this side of this intercooler pipe. So I managed to get it snuck underneath there. It's actually got quite a bit of wiggle room here. It's not gonna rub through this boot or anything like that. So I like the way it fits up like that. It doesn't necessarily look the best. I would rather, as far as looks go, be on the other side of that. But I think this is what's going to be best to feed our turbo. So, yeah. We are making progress.
So guys, I think that's going to end up doing it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. Don't forget, I need your guys' opinion. That fuel, secondary fuel filter, how should we mount that? Where should we mount it? And then how should we route those two oil lines? Give me your guys' opinion. What do you guys think would be best as far as routing goes? I kind of have some good ideas. But I do want to get some feedback from you guys. You guys are awesome. 2,000 subscribers, absolutely crazy. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning into this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. Leave a comment down below. We'll catch you guys in the next video.